Okay, so as not to delay any further, I think we'll get started. My name is Laura Egan O'Brien. I'm the Marketing Manager for the College of Engineering and Architecture here in UCD, and I'm going to be your host for the webinar today. This is our 6th webinar that we've had within our Talk Graduate Virtual Event series this week. And today's webinar that you're at is all about programs within our School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering. So for the schedule today, you're going to hear from our incoming head of school, Dr. Vincent Hardigan, all about the school and the programs that it has on offer. And then we'll launch into a little bit more about the student experience, and you'll hear from Shamira, who is a final year student within our mechanical engineering 2-year program, and also Abhishek, who is currently doing our 1-year program in engineering management. And he's an international student, so you'll get experience of what it's like to come as an international student from him as well. Some housekeeping before we get started, just to let you know, the session is being recorded. So if you miss anything, or if you know of anyone who is also wanting to hear about the programs and the content that we offer today but couldn't attend, we will be putting a link to our YouTube channel link to the recording up on our YouTube channel early next week. And my colleague Katie O'Neill is also joining us, and she can pop a link to our YouTube channel up in the chat. And any other useful links, you'll see Katie popping them up as we go throughout the webinar also. And then lastly, from me, you would have received an email with the link to today's webinar from myself, but within that email, you would have also seen a link to our event landing page. On that page, if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, you'll find some really useful information that might help you if you're making a decision between certain programs, or if you're wanting to make an application to us as well. So you'll find things like our program brochures for information on the courses themselves. You'll also see a link to the UCD virtual campus tour. So if you haven't had a chance to come to campus, that might be good to check out. Or you'll see information on things like our alumni showcase and our academic impact, research impact case studies as well, to get a flavour of the kind of alumni and academics and researchers we have within our programs. So that's all from me. Without further ado, I think we'll get started on our actual scheduled programming today. As I said, first up is Dr. Vincent Hardigan on a little bit of information on our programs and our school.
Thank you, Laura. Hello, everybody. Delighted to welcome you here to the virtual open event about the School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the programs and the activities that our school engages in, and then you'll hear directly from 2 of our students, Shamira and Abhishek, about their experiences on their respective programs. And really, this opening slide, the images on this opening slide really give you a sense of the breadth of the activities and programs that we undertake in the School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering here at UCD. So we go from everything from digital design for manufacturing, and we've built expertise in robotics and automation, materials modeling, finite element analysis, very strong area in biomedical engineering, such as medical device design, biomechanics, biomaterials, strong in manufacturing processes, both additive and subtractive manufacturing processes, so things like 3D printing, metal 3D printing, polymer 3D printing, and energy systems engineering, with particular emphasis on sustainability and renewable energy systems. So just to give you some of the key facts and headlines about our school. We're a large school. We're the largest school within the College of Engineering and Architecture, and about 50% of all engineering students are registered on programs linked to our school. We've got over 100 staff. 34 of those are members of faculty, and they've got quite a wide range of expertise in our different disciplines. We've been very successful over the last number of years in our funded research activity, and that would be funding both from national programs in Ireland and also international programs such as the European Horizon Europe funding programs. And the reason that's important, I know this is a TAUT, this is an event to give you some information about our TAUT postgraduate programs, but research activity is really important because it feeds in and constantly updates the content of our taught programs. And it also gives our students opportunities to work on research projects with those academics. Our ME programs, our Master of Engineering programs, they're accredited by Engineers Ireland. So Engineers Ireland is the professional body which accredits our programs for professional practice. And one of the benefits of graduating from an accredited program is international mobility. So Engineers Ireland have recognition links with a large number of other countries. So if you graduate from an accredited program in UCD, for instance, that's recognized if you want to work in Canada or if you want to work in Australia. And also our ME Materials Science and Engineering, not only is it accredited by Engineers Ireland, but it's also accredited by IOM3. IOM3 is the Institute for Materials, Metals and Mining. Our students, our graduates have been really successful in getting employment post-graduation. So up to 96% employment, and the other 4% is often people decide that after 2 years, 1 or 2 years as a master's student, that you want to take a year off to do some traveling before settling down and working in industry. So we have very close to 100% employment rate with our graduates, both in Ireland and internationally. One of the very exciting features about our 2-year ME program is that it includes an internship for all those students. So that is organised within the College of Engineering and Architecture, and that takes a full teaching semester, and it's worth a semester's credit. And again, that's a very successful route to employment. About 70% of our students actually receive a job offer from their internship host company. And then kind of tying in with the research and the opportunities for students to work on exciting research projects while they're studying within the school on our programs. Just a couple of the very prestigious research labs that we have is Science Foundation Ireland. We have the iForm Centre for Advanced Manufacturing, and then we have MNMT Dublin, the Micro Nano Manufacturing Technology Centre. And we've got a lot of other centres and laboratories that the faculty have established to focus their research. And also, if you're interested in space, AirSat-1 is Ireland's first satellite, and that was actually designed and built in the school in collaboration with colleagues with the UCD School of Physics, and that is going to be launched by the European Space Agency in the coming year. I suppose if we were to kind of summarize the types of activities that our school engages in, not just in research, but our taught postgraduate programs are also linked to these research themes. We're very strong in 4 main areas. We're very strong in mechanical design and manufacturing has evolved into digital manufacturing. So areas such as data analytics for manufacturing and digital manufacturing such as robotics and automation. Engineers are, the goal of any engineer is to help solve some of society's pressing problems, and we know that the issue of sustainability and energy is a critical issue at the moment. So we've got very strong research themes and programs in energy systems engineering, particularly looking at the area of renewable energy. Materials science and engineering, again, we cover the full spectrum of both ferrous and non-ferrous materials, polymers, technical ceramics. And also biomedical engineering, which we collaborate closely with our colleagues in the School of Electronic and Electrical Engineering. And areas there, biomedical engineering is a very strong industry sector in Ireland. We're home to a number of the world's leading medtech companies, both in device and within implants. And the activities and programs that we would cover there would be things like medical device design, biomechanics, and biomaterials. So then getting into a little bit more detail about the subjects in our school and the programs that we offer at a taught postgraduate level. So our core subject is mechanical engineering, and we've got the 4-year Bachelor of Engineering, which is our undergraduate qualification. More specifically for this webinar, we have the 2-year Master of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering. In Materials Science and Engineering, we offer 2 postgraduate programs. We offer the 2-year Master of Engineering and also a 1-year, 12-month Master of Engineering Science in Materials Science and Engineering. So our 1-year programs, our MNJC programs, they would generally consist of 2 semesters of coursework, and then the summer semester is an applied research project, where you would have the opportunity to either collaborate with an industry company or work closely in one of our research centres under the supervision of one of our academic members of staff. Systems engineering, so that's quite close to the area, to the re-emerging area of industrial engineering, and that's the area which I'm most closely involved in. And it's an area that we have expanded quite significantly over the last 5 years. And you'll hear from Abhishek, for instance, about one of the programs that he's a student on. So we have the 1-year Master of Engineering Science in Engineering Management, the 2-year ME Engineering with Business. So both of those are really focused on the area of technology management and process engineering. We've got a recently established ME Manufacturing. That's a dual degree program with a number of leading schools of engineering around Europe. And in that program, students can choose to spend 1 year in UCD. It could be the first year or the second year, and 1 year in one of the partner universities around Europe. And that is through our collaboration with EIT Manufacturing, the European Institute for Innovation and Technology. We also offer a number of programs for students who are already based in industry and have a number of years experience. We actually have a separate webinar on these coming up later today. So the Master of Engineering Management is for experienced engineers. That's a 2-year part-time. And we also offer a shorter professional diploma in operations excellence, again, for industry-based practitioners. We're very strong in biomedical engineering, as is the Irish manufacturing sector. And again, we've got 4-year bachelors, but more specifically, of relevance for this webinar, we've got the 2-year Master of Engineering in biomedical engineering. And then finally, in energy systems engineering, we have the 2-year ME in energy systems, focusing on the mechanical engineering aspects of energy systems engineering. So I hope that's given you a flavour of the breadth and the scale of our activities in the UCD School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering. And we offer quite a wide range of programmes, from the very general mechanical engineering to the more specific biomedical, industrial systems and materials science and engineering. So I'll hand back to Laura, and then Laura will introduce, and you'll hear from our 2 students, and then we'll come back and have some questions and answers. Thank you.
Great, thanks so much, Vincent. Really great insight into the programs that the school has on offer, and also what's going on in the school as far as research goes as well, which is great to hear. So as you said, the next speaker we have up is Shamira, and as we said at the start, she is in her final year of our mechanical engineering program.
Hey guys, I'm just going to share some slides. Can everyone see those?
Yeah, we can see them.
Cool. So like Laura said, I'm in final year of the Masters. So throughout your 2 years, what will you learn is the first thing I'm just going to cover. So your core modules are going to be your basics, your bread and butter: fluids, design, solids, thermodynamics, fracture mechanics, bit of professional engineering. And then you also have the option to pursue a couple of option modules. So I chose optimization techniques and energy and transport, because I'm kind of interested in the automotive industry and also just optimization in general. But more specifically, why did I pick the Masters? So for me, it was really important to get some industry experience. So a big part of me picking to do choosing to do the Masters was my internship in Logitech. They make mice, gaming mice, keyboards. They make driving simulators and stuff like that. So I went to Cork and worked with them for 9 months, and I did a lot of rapid prototyping. So I learned quite extensively how to use the 3D printers to print overnight and to make design iterations. I also did a lot of what we called as teardown, so just taking apart mice. These are some of the competitors' mice that I would have taken apart as well, to see like maybe they're doing something new in the industry, and we just want to see how they've done it. Also, I took part in what's called a design sprint. Basically, you spend a whole week trying to workshop and solve one problem instead of spending months kind of doing it on the side or whatever. Everyone gets in a room and you spend a really focused week trying to solve it. That was really, really good experience to put into practice what I'd learned in my design modules here in UCD. I actually got to use it in industry, so that was really, really good to see. Oh, this is where this comes into play, this is how this happens. And it was very cool at the end to think on a Monday morning we just had a question, and by the end of the week we had a working prototype. So that was really interesting. I also got to take part in a personal design project. So over the 8 months, I took on a they gave me a concept design, and I basically spent 8 months trying to replicate it in real life prototypes. So that, I think I had over 30 prototypes for the mouse while I was there. So that was a great experience, again, putting into practice what I'd learned in college in the real world. Another thing that was important for me was doing the thesis, because it helped me focus the things I want to do later on in life. So for me, that is, as I kind of mentioned earlier, the automotive industry and optimization techniques. So my product title is Exploring a Joint Optimization to Improve the Aerodynamics of a Formula One Car. If that makes no sense to you, don't worry, it didn't make a lot of sense to me when I took it on. But basically, it just means using a joint equations, which are a type of mathematical equation, and they're quite efficient to basically improve how the car runs aerodynamically. So this is kind of just a small snapshot of what I'm doing. So basically, the adjoint equations that I mentioned, when you solve them, you basically find out how sensitive different parts of your design are to, like, so in this instance, we're optimizing for drag. So in the blue parts, if I push them inwards, or the red parts, if I pull them outwards, doing either of those things will reduce the drag. So basically, using those maps, we then change the design, like you can see on the right here. And then ultimately, when you run it again, you hopefully get a better design, which is what is proving to be true so far. So that's really good. And then you run some more simulations, and you can visualize the flow fields, and you can see how things have changed based on the difference between your original design and your optimized design. So it's quite interesting. It's coming to a head next week, due next week. So that was really interesting, and it was really great to focus my interests through the thesis. Also, another reason why I decided to do my master's in UCD was some of their extracurricular activities. So while I was here, I did my undergrad here as well. So I spent the first 2 years, second and third year of my undergrad on the UCD Formula student team. And then in the first year of my master's, I became the captain of the team. So it's basically a UK design competition where we design and build a Formula style car. So this is one of the cars from 2019. And basically at the end of it, it's a big team of about 100 people, and you basically spend the whole year building the car. And it's again, it's kind of coming back to using what you're learning in the course, putting it into practice to build the car. And then at the end of the year, you go to Silverstone, which for anyone that's a fan of F1 will know it's the home of the British Grand Prix. So you can see here we got to see one of the Alpine cars, and then you're competing against over 120 other universities from around the UK, Europe, and further field as well. So it's really good. It's a really great way to meet other people in the industry, make connections, and just it's a really great learning environment. So that was, again, UCD's team's quite good. So there's another reason I stayed here. So based on all my time in the Masters, what's next for me? I'm probably ruining the statistics a bit. I'm in that 4% of, I think I want to travel a bit next year because of COVID. I missed out on a lot of travel. But after that, hopefully it will be something in the automotive industry. Really, I want to design anything, ideally in the automotive or aerospace industry. Use all that design work that I have accrued over the last two years. But yeah, that's been my experience of the Masters in UCD.
Great, thanks so much, Shamira. Sounds like you were very busy on your work placement, and we wish you the best of luck with your plans for the future. So the next student that we have up is Abhishek, and just before he speaks, I just wanted to highlight that if any of the attendees do have questions, there is a Q&A button located at the bottom control panel of your screen. Type your questions in there as they come to you now, and then we can get to them after Abhishek has had a chance to speak. Okay, Abhishek, it's up to you.
Thank you, Laura. Good morning, everyone. As Dr. Vincent said, I am a student of engineering management in UCD, and it's a one-year course. So I got in the September intake. It was very thrilling at first to be admitted into UCD. To be honestly speaking, I was very, very excited. And to come in here as an international student, it was really, really, it's an honor to be here. I don't know if it's coincidence or not. The first class I ever attended was Dr. Vincent's class, supply chain design and analysis. So he is here, so I better be on point when I'm talking about the course. It's a really hard course. It really presses you to your limits. That's what I would say about the course, first of all. It was really hard at the beginning because as an international student, the way education is, the framework of education is back in India is completely different from how it is here. So I had to pick up on a lot of new stuff. And once I did, it was pretty easy, I would say, especially the professors here are so experienced. Their technical knowledge and how they approach every topic in every module is very, very interesting and eye-catching, I would say. Um, the various ways they tested how we fared at the module was also something I would really, thank them for, because it really tested how well we attended, how well we, took the classes, and how we understood what they told us, and how they taught it to us and all that. And a bit about my profile. I have a undergraduation in mechanical engineering and a post graduation in computer aided design back from India, and this is my second master's. The conventional method is to take an MBA and get into the world of business and finance, but I really felt that it's something that I could never explain to myself why I would take an MBA after taking the field of engineering. So that's why I took this course. It has a bit of management in it as well. I'm in my second trimester now, and we're focusing completely on the management aspects of engineering. We did touch on it last trimester, but this trimester is entirely focused on the management side of engineering. We're learning modules like business information systems and operations management, and we're even allowed to take one course which is in finance or management, or which is an elective module. We are able to choose from either of them. So I took finance. It's That's a completely new subject for me because I'm an engineer right from my undergrad till now. So I'm having a lot of fun in that as well. I'm learning a lot of new stuff. Apart from the aspect of the course, I would say UCD offers a lot of different things that will help you fare in your career, basically. One of them, since Shamira shared about the clubs, I'm going to share about something else. The UCD Careers Network. I think that's something that really has helped me out, especially with building my resume, bringing value to myself. I've really attended a couple of workshops with them once I came here, on how to build my resume, how to show myself, project myself on LinkedIn. I think those things are really helpful because as we start our career, in my case, I'm a fresher. I have no work experience, so for me, showing myself as a value to an employee is of prime importance for me. So I really felt that UCD Careers Network really helped me out in that way. They helped me out with building my resume, building my LinkedIn profile, and I constantly went back to them, and they helped me out over and over again. And now I've applied to jobs and I'm getting good job offers from various companies. It's really helped me out a lot. So hats off to the UCD Career Networks for that. Next, I wanted to talk about the career prospects that you can get from this course and from UCD as well. UCD is number one in graduate employability. That was one of the main attracting factors for me to take UCD as my first choice in this course for this course. Um, when we talk about career in terms of engineering management or any field in engineering, especially in Ireland, if you want to continue staying on here and uh, building a career for yourself in Ireland, I think it's very important that you make a string of networks around you, meet new people, get introduced to new people, especially the job fairs that happen in UCD when you come in the month of October. I think that's very important if you really want to think about getting a grad program, and if you're a fresher. I think it's very, very important that you attend that job fair, get the the business cards from them, send them your resume, and before that, approach UCD Careers build your resume if you don't have a good, viable one. If you think that you don't have a viable one, go to the UCD career networks, talk to them, get your resume on track, and then build your LinkedIn profile. And then, once you do that and you go to the job fair, you're primed to, get a job there. And they're obviously going to take time to reply back. But I think a job fair is of real prime importance, because the people I know really got a lot of advantages after attending the job fair, because we knew what the employer is expecting from us as students. So it's really helpful that you attend all these small things that UCD has to offer. It's not just the classes that you should attend, because as a student, as a person from India, we are always forced to do things back in India, but here nobody's going to force us. So it's really your own. You got to push yourself to do that, and you got to go do it on your own. That's something I learned, and it was really nice. I've had a good 8 months around in UCD, and I've learned a lot of things from different professors. Dr. Vincent, obviously, and Pascal, Dr. Pascal, and so many people. They were also experienced, well versed in their own fields, and it's been an honor actually to study abroad, and especially studying UCD. For me, in terms of career, I would say I'm applying right now to fields like supply chain management, operations management, and project management. So these are the fields that I'm gunning for. And I've applied to a lot of jobs, and I would say it's got a positive outlook. So I'm positive that I'm bound to end up in Ireland for the next 2 years. Even in terms of visa and everything, you get the stamp 1G after for Indians especially. You'll get your stamp 1G after you're done with your course. So everything in Ireland is pretty easy compared to other country in terms of education, apart from the housing crisis, obviously. That I think that's the crux of it. And thank you once again, Laura and Dr. Vincent and Katie. Thank you for having me.
Great. Thanks so much, Abhishek. Really great insights from you, especially as an international student. And that it's good to see that you've made best use of the career development team and the supports there career-wise. Okay, so thank you to all our speakers for giving us some great presentations there. We're going to move on to the Q&A part of the webinar today. So as I said, there's a Q&A button in the control panel at the bottom of your screen. Type your questions in there. And I know my colleague Katie got a couple of messages there as well. So I'm going to read out those particular questions as well. I'm just going to switch to gallery mode for all our attendees so they can see us all. So the first question is for Vincent. Can someone study civil engineering with business, or maybe another kind of field of engineering with business, or how does that normally work for students?
Certainly. So our engineering with business program, so our students will have taken one of the main disciplines in engineering, so mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electronic engineering. So that means if you have a background in engineering, that makes you eligible to take that 2-year ME with business, Master of Engineering with Business. And during that 2 years, particularly the first year of the 2 years, you'll still take some of your core technical options. So if you're a civil engineer doing ME with business, you'll still take a number of civil engineering technical options, as well as the technology management, engineering, more business orientated modules that all our students take on that program. And similarly, if you're a mechanical engineering student or an electronic engineering student, you'll take a set number of credits in that core discipline, as well as the common business technology management modules.
Okay, great to hear there's a balance between the kind of subject specific ones and then the more business management ones. That's great. And then in relation to this specifically around materials, but I suppose it applies to all the difference between the 1 year and the 2 year. Is it mainly the internship part that defines the difference between the 1 year MNGCs and then the 2 year MEs?
Yeah, so our ME programs are 120 credits over the 2 years. So we use the ECTS system, the European Credit Transfer System. So all our MEs are 120 credits. So you do 60 credits per year. 30 per semester. Our MNGSC program, so the 12-month programs, they're 90 credits. So the difference between the 90 credit and the 120 credit is the 30 credits, and that is generally across our programs the internship, which is worth 30 credits. Our ME program, so you don't do anything in the summer term between year 1 and year 2 on our ME program. So in year 1 of the ME, you'll do coursework in autumn and spring, and you'll go on, depending on your program, you'll go on placement, and then September of year 2, January of year 2, you're generally back on campus doing your research thesis. Whereas the 1-year programs, you start in September and you finish the following August. So you work straight through for the 12 months.
Okay, great. And then just on the research thesis, you mentioned the project. Is there flexibility in students being able to choose their own topics, or are all topics pre-assigned, or how would that work? How would that work for a student?
There's a good degree of flexibility, and particularly on the ME programs, we encourage our students to try and identify a thesis topic with their internship employer. And that helps a degree of continuity, and it also makes it a bit more applied. So students are free to identify a particular topic, and then we match that topic with an academic member of staff who has a research interest in that area. Other students are happy to take suggested research topics. So again, all academics propose research topics in their area of interest. I think what Abhishek's program is probably one of the unique programs in that their summer project is actually a consulting type project with industry. So we line up a number of companies, and the students are put in groups of 2 to 3 students, and they're allowed kind of bid for which projects they would like, and they're assigned, and they work directly with the sponsoring company from kind of mid-June to the end of August on that particular project for that company. So
Okay.
there's quite a wide range of approaches for the ME program and also for the MNGSC programs for the thesis or research project component.
That's great to hear. Brilliant. Thank you. And then Abhishek, I might come to you just as an international student. You obviously are coming to us from India and would have done your undergraduate study in India. Were you nervous coming over to Ireland, and did you find it was easy to settle in, and do you have any advice maybe for other international students?
Yeah, surely I was nervous, obviously. Of course I was nervous because this is the first time I'm coming away from home. I'm living alone, so it's kind of nervous. When you get on that flight, you trust me, you shed some tears. But yeah, it's hard because you're coming to another country. The weather is different, the climate's different, the people are much different. It's not home, but you make a home for yourself, I would say. That's the best part. So it is hard, but that's what you're coming here for, a different experience. But now it's become a home away from home for me. So Ireland is much more of a home for me, I would say, than India. And in such a short time, I would say it's become much more of a home. I refuse to go back to India, actually. So so I would say Ireland is my home now.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. Really good. And any advice for anyone who's coming over as an international student that they can hit the ground running, or things that maybe you didn't think of?
First thing I would say, apply. Once you apply, just wait, and once you get your offer letter, get your visa on track. I think the housing crisis is something that everyone should be focused on. That's the major thing. So just get that on track. Once you get a house, I think most of the work there is done. In terms of academics, I would say what I did was I saw all the courses that were being offered, all the modules that were being offered in the course before I came here. I think that's what I did first because I didn't know anything else. I didn't have any other option because in terms of to prepare myself, I would say just look at the modules that are being offered, and since there are not a lot of electives, I think there's only one elective to choose out of 3. So I would say prepare for that as well, because there's finance, management, and technical communication in my course. So I think that's something you should look at. And other than that, I think as an international student, I would say just your visa. I think your visa and your housing is something that you should look at. I think that's more important than anything else. Yeah.
Great advice. Thank you. And then my colleague Katie has actually popped up 2 links to our accommodation and residence information there in the chat if you want to grab that for more information as well. Shamira, I might just ask you one question as well. You obviously talked about your internship. Sound like you had a great time, lots of good experiences. How is it logistically to actually secure the internship, or do UCD offer supports to help you do that?
So UCD do or help you organize your internship. So you are free to go find one on your own as well if you want to. I just didn't. I was happy enough. I looked through the list of ones that UCD were offering, and I was very happy with the list that was offered. So basically what happens is you come back in your first year in September, and straight away you should start organizing your CV and all that jazz, because pretty soon, I think it's like maybe a week or 2 after you're back, you get a big list. You get access to I think it's my careers page, but anyway, this big database of companies. I think there was something like 86 companies on the one I was offered, and you basically go through all of them. You get all the job descriptions and you pick. You're advised to apply to between like 5 and 7 of them, and you submit. These are all companies that are specifically signed up through UCD and willing to offer. It's not like you're going out and competing with. Some of them you're competing with other colleges, but they're like more general ones, like maybe ARP or something have a specific one. It happens to be listed on the site, but most of them are specifically looking to hire in UCD. So you submit your CV and stuff to them. They get back to you, offer you interviews. You go through all your interviews, and at the end you get to pick. If you got multiple interviews, you get to pick which one you do. If you just got 1 or 2, or just got 1, then you obviously accept that. But yeah, no, it was a pretty seamless sort of experience, and that UCD definitely did help. But at the same time, you can go find your own if you want as well.
Okay, great. I think it's important for people to know that just it's a really big aspect of the 2-year programs that we offer, and we always get great feedback on students going out on placement. I think that's all the questions we've kind of been asked by our attendees. We kind of come to the end of our webinar then. So I just wanted to thank our speakers for all their presentations, really great insights on the program and the student experience. Lovely to hear from all of you. And then thank you to our attendees for joining us. I would just like to flag then my colleague Katie has also popped her email address and my email address up in the chat, so grab them there if you have any follow-up questions after today. That's the best way to reach us, and we'll get back to you via email, or we can set up one-to-one calls, or we can put you in touch with academics or students if that is a requirement as well. But yeah, thank you very much for attending, and enjoy the rest of your day.